working towards. Not the collectibles art market itself, for example, but the, what is it, to get money, to be famous, to get more exposure, that kind of thing.
Um. Well, I I would like it to make money. I would like it to make money. I would like it to. I think I'd like it. I'd like to be. I'd want as much exposure. I guess exposure is probably the best answer to that, which is I would like it to be big, so that then I could decide what I want to do with it.
Well, and part of that is coming up with a coherent message and brand that'll help you get that. You know what I mean?
Okay, well, one, I've thought about that a lot. So, what the one good thing as far as branding goes is talking to famous people, TWFP, the host, the famous person thing. That's well branded. Like it's consistent across the media and stuff. So I like that aspect. But in terms of what this actually is in a one sentence way to describe it, that's a difficult thing to come up with for me, and I've thought about it a lot because I've had a number of people tell me I need to come up with a simple description of it. I was thinking on one hand, it's sort of a you could position it as a take take turns interviewing each other kind of a thing, or a make videos as you want about whatever you want and position yourself however you want kind of a thing. But that's hard to explain. It's basically it's about trying to find people who don't currently feel as though their needs are being met intellectually and socially by existing things, and to have that those people engage in meaningful ways and have that be made to go on everyone's permanent record by recording it all.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the raw channel, and then you have the you're talking with famous people. Now, what if more videos were made, but also there was like a, the ones that were the most popular got on the highlight page, or something like that. And also, what I was thinking about is you how I felt when you were talking about the dominance thing and something like that is, you know, at the end of the day, you do want it to be, which I think, and I could be misunderstanding it, misrepresenting it, but you do want it to be about Eric to a
The
degree.
the channel.
Yeah, you do want to be the figurehead, the leader, the um,
Well, I mean, see, that was not historically something I needed or I expected or wanted at all from the channel.
but you like it, and you as you should, and
I,
I
I
feel like you wrestle with it.
yeah, I
Could be
do like
wrong.
it because I like the fact that I enjoy my time in the go to meeting room. I like the fact that when I show up there, uh, it just I don't know. I don't really I don't know what to make of the having a different status than other people in the group. That's
Can you
difficult for
say?
me. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know how to deal with having a different status than the other people in the group. Even though I behave as though like I carry myself kind of bossy, I guess, or something, but I don't feel like that, and I don't I don't abstractly think of myself as having a different status, and yet I note that I do. I've had Taylor and other people tell me things like, "You don't seem to understand that the channel is about you," and I don't know if it is exactly. It became that because for lack of anybody else to play with. But now there's plenty of other people around, you know.
But you don't want. I mean, do you feel like it's important for you to maintain that.
Maintain what? Being
The
the head guy?
Yeah, or the status or the reverence or something.
No, I mean I want to be an active participant, and I think unavoidably it's people are going to afford me a certain amount of status, but no, I don't. If you're suggesting that I withdraw more to the shadows for certain things, then I'm perfectly okay with that. I might not have
No,
been at
I'm
one
not.
point, but I am now.
I'm not. I think I'm saying the opposite.
I need to own it as my thing.
Yeah, but not. You don't need to show it. It's. You just need to know it that that's true to yourself, and that the people who also have kind of a strong personality and talk to a lot of people like myself are going to, like, for example, I'm on there so much and I have so many conversations that it I can do that thing where I start to like it a lot too, personally. You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, they're talking about me or something like that. But I'm always going to, like, if you tell me something, if you tell me when to stop talking or something like that, I do it.
I
You
mean,
know what I mean?
you're adjusting to what's effective on managing perceptions. So it's not you stop talking because I tell you to. It's
It's out of respect.
okay. Well, maybe, but most importantly, it's out of the effectiveness and need to to pump that vector a little bit. You know, and I'm not That's not a criticism at all. That's an observation that we're operative. We're too intellectualized about things to be operating quite on that kind of a gut level.
Hmm.
So the thing is, I agree with that occurring, and I agree but I think that's a phenomenon of the thing that we started with, which is the group sort of unavoidably affords me a certain amount of status, and so I guess
Why?
accommodations have to be made. Well, I mean, see, I would like to think it's because I have the most videos of anybody, but I don't think that's exactly the reason why.
Do you love yourself, Eric?
Uh, I don't know. I don't. I don't. I don't. Even, well, I treat myself well.
I don't know if that's the same.
It's concrete, though.
Well, when you say you have the most videos, I mean, come on, people like you because you're a likable person. That's ridiculous to say anything other than that.
Well, I mean, I hope I, I see that as something I have to not fuck up. It's like that's the maintenance part of the job, right?
Hmm.
But that may be an incorrect way of viewing it. I see it as the dissemination of a lot of ideas as being the the good, healthy part of the job. That like I'm doing something that's practical for myself and for others. It's practical for me because it helps me to define who I am. It helps me to understand that I have a history and that things have happened in the past and that they matter and all that kind of stuff. And it helps potentially other people because unavoidably I'm disseminating a lot of information in the process. And some who knows how and when and where somebody someday might watch that video is going to resonate with them and they're going to find it useful. And at least then I can make those utility claims. So now I've enabled myself to uh, improve myself, improve the whole machine via the SI aspect, and hopefully enabled me to justify things that I do for reasons I don't quite understand through a utilitarian framework.
Well, because if you want to make money, or you want to get make videos and have include people, which is I think a good, these are all valid things to want and to work towards. I don't think anybody can do it by themselves. I don't think you can do it by yourself. And I think there's a way for you to, I don't know that you've had to be a leader before in something like this. And I think that if you worked on that, you'd be mighty good at it, and it would help serve your wants and the goals of everything.
What would that look like? Explain to me what leadership would look like.
Leadership is it's investing in other people and giving something back to the people that you're leading, giving them responsibilities and going to them for letting them do whatever they're good at, and also making things happen for the collective audience. So, for example, like I think you could it'd be really easy to use a lot of the people here to get a guest on. So imagine if you ask people, who do you want to talk to? Who should we talk to? And they come in the always open room. It's just maybe you and them, and then the chat is chatting in things, like asking them who they want, and then say, yeah, sure, we can have a conversation. And then you get really good at that kind of conversation, which I think you did it wonderfully with my brother the other day. I was amazed. You're very good at that, and I think that is something that you could really be capitalizing on, and it could really be the talking with famous people. So you're getting to produce a good video with somebody has a presence out there already. You get more presence, you get more exposure by the fact that that person was on your show, and then you're having the always open people commenting on and stuff. And you could do that real easy. Like if you want to say, like they said, Michael Pierce, they really want Michael Pierce. You know how you do that? You get 20 people to go comment on Michael Pierce, say, host Eric wants to have you on Talking with Famous People. We'd love to hear you, blah, blah, blah. You get enough people do that, the guy's going to do it.
That's a really, really good and straightforward idea. I mean, I think I think that's a good idea. I think I should do that.
But I think you should be researching things about leadership, and then I think that your way of interviewing somebody the way you talked to my brother was phenomenal. And if you can repeat that.
So what do you think? I mean, I actually I'm currently I have it open on another thing on the computer, another application, Premiere Pro, and I'm cutting that video right now. I'm doing it in a couple of chunks. First one I'm doing is the question about paternalistic or non-paternalistic altruism, and I thought it was interesting because I like those kind of interesting ethical questions. Is that why also you think that was successful, or what makes you think that was a good example?
You asked the questions. Well, it was a good example because the way you asked them resonated well with my brother, and I think that's my critique to you would be that when you maybe don't do that well is when you use too big of words for somebody who doesn't have that kind of vocabulary to reach from.
Yeah, I'm aware of that problem. I try to work on it. Well, like for example.
But I think you did it good there, though.
Okay. Good.
And that's an example you can refer back to. I mean, you thought about what you were going to say, it seems.
Well, I'm careful with religious people. I'm very careful with religious people. What you saw in that episode is once I determined that you're religious and I want to talk about ethics and religious stuff, I want to make sure I'm doing it in a way that's respectful to the person's religion and conveys to them clearly that I'm not attacking faith.
Well, if I don't know how well you did that because you got a little emotional with it. But
okay.
Up until that point, I mean, what I'm saying is you could be good at interviewing people and you could get famous people on here. And if you focused on the, like, you could have, for example, Son said he wants to help. You know, you could have people. If you say, "What do you guys do? Well, how can you help?" And then you say, "I want you to do this." The very thing that you, for the very thing of you asking them to do something for you, them saying, "Oh, Eric wants me to be involved in something that I think is cool." It makes people want to give more, and it also ups your status a bit.
Hmm.
And I would also read a book on leadership. I know I very, very, I would read the, you could do the abbreviated version or something, but um, I think you probably haven't had to work on leadership before, and I think you ought to now.
It's fair that to say that I've not had to ever worked on leadership before, that I've actively rejected the concept. I worked previously at a business called Kudo's College of Youth Leadership. And when I left there, I wanted to express clearly in the name of my new business that I rejected the concept of leadership, and I called it therefore Autonomy Debate School. I have a rocky history with the word and the concept of leadership. I don't like leaders. I don't like people who presume to be leaders. I don't want to be led, and I don't want others to need to be led.
Yeah,
But
but when you have a community, if there's not leadership, it's anarchy, and you don't want that.
okay, it doesn't feel like anarchy to me yet. It doesn't feel like we're
But it's because you're a
experiencing.
leader. It's just it doesn't matter if you call it something. It is what it is.
I mean, look, anarchy, it may be an anarchic state in the sense that it's without a lot of rules or direction, but normally when someone says it's an anarchy, one's implying the negative impacts of a lack of governance. And I don't feel those negative impacts around yet. I see some angles in which they will occur, and I'll have to deal with it. I've noted that the one big advantage, sort of metaphysical advantage, that we have that allows the anarchy to persist peacefully is that at the end of the day, if you want to troll or something like that, get on the camera, get on the mic, or you're not gonna you're not gonna get any attention for it. It's not gonna get on the video. And number two, nobody's got the balls to do it
Why do you think that is?
because I'm dealing with them as honestly as I can. So their douchebaggery is they have to be overtly malevolent and
But that's
persist.
important, right? To have that if somebody was going to do that when you were there, and it was just eyes in the chat, what would happen if you weren't there?
Well, I get a text. I get text every time something's going down from multiple people. It's cool. I like it a lot. That
And
part I
I do.
like. I love I love people contacting me and having lots of contact things coming at me, like little things from lots of different little people. That's my favorite state of being, is to be engaged in lots of little social things like
That's
that.
I think you would really I think if you own the leadership position and just define why you didn't like other leaders, there's a difference between a bad leader and a good leader, right? You don't want to impose your will I mean, look at it this way. A leader is, leaders help themselves and others do the right things. They set direction, build an inspiring vision, and create something new. Leadership is about mapping out where you need to go to win as a team and organization, and it is dynamic, exciting, and inspiring.
I'm a leader with my debate team, I think, because they're kids. So I feel like it's
But it's
okay
different.
to
You're
be
a
a leader.
teacher.
Well, I mean, more. I am so often not a teacher. That's the thing about the debate squad. I have been slacking my fucking ass off all year long, and we are the best team in the league. Why is that the case? Because my kids, I don't even know.
Well, I just hope you get the most out of this thing, man. I'll help any way I can within reason, you know. Um, I I think that I would have enough. I wouldn't be able to do it alone, personally. Um, I think that it's amazing that you think you should feel pretty good about yourself that you've attracted the type of people you have. I think we can both say they're quite phenomenal.
Man, I love it.
Um,
It's great. I love hanging out with all you guys.
yeah, but um,
So okay,
you know,
let's be practical here. You're saying I should be more of a leader. So let's say I'm gonna make a leadership video in which I'm saying, all right, hey everybody, I'm listening to Nick. Nick suggests I be more leaderly. So I've read 1.5 web pages for a total of 15 minutes about leadership. I am therefore now an expert about it. And, and
well,
here's what I've
then you
learned, and here's what I'm going to tell you what to do now that I'm your leader.
well, it's not so much telling people what to do; it's getting people excited about something and creating it's something to work towards.
Mm.
And it's more of a intangible thing,
It's
where
like
it's like,
Pete Carroll style.
well, if you ever get a chance, laws, the 28 irrefutable laws of leadership, uh, 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. Just read each 21 law. You can get a really short. That's probably the best hand guide.
All right, let's go down them real quick. Let me see. I'll go to the Google. I'll use the Google to give me some information.
Yeah, there's a PDF. You should be able to find a PDF where it just gives you an overview of all the
21 indisputable.
irrefutable. Irrefutable.
Oh, yes. Irrefutable. Yes. Okay. So, PDF. Let's see. Will I refute any of these laws? Or are they indeed irrefutable? Oh no, I can't refute it. Ah!
They're pretty irrefutable. You would love it, I think.
Come on, www.u-leadership.com. Hurry up with your PDF.
The laws. Interesting. Adding value, changing lives. Truly value others. Make yourself more valuable to others. Know and relate to what others value. Do
Hey,
that.
hold on, you're going too fast. I can't. I need to see it.
Yeah.
Download this fucker. What the fuck? Why are you being such a bitch?
But yeah, it's like there's so many things like when you're looking at.
Okay, so here I've got it open finally. Leadership ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. The law of the lid. Leadership ability is the lid that determines a person's level of effectiveness. Your leadership ability always determines your effectiveness. Let's say you're an 8 on a scale of 1 to 10, but let's say your leadership ability is a 1. Your level of effectiveness would look like this. Well, that's an interesting claim. The true measure of leadership, number 2. The true measure of leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. True leadership cannot be awarded, appointed, or assigned. It comes only from influence, and that cannot be mandated. It must be earned. 5 myths. The management myth. That leading and managing are the same. Leadership is about influencing people to follow, while management focuses on maintaining systems and processes. Managers can maintain direction. To move people, you need influence. The entrepreneur myth. Entrepreneurs are skilled at seeing opportunity and going after them, but not all of them are good at leading people in their vision. Knowledge myth. Neither IQ nor education necessarily equates to leadership. Pioneer myth. Being a trendsetter is not the same as being a leader. To be a leader, a person not only has to be out in front, but also has to have people following his lead. 5. The position myth. Leadership is not based on rank or title. It's not the position that makes the leader. It's the leader that makes the position. Character. Who they are. True leadership always begins with the inner person. Who they know. With deep relationships with the right people, you can become a real leader. What they know. Information is vital. They need to grasp the facts. What they feel. Leaders seek to recognize and influence intangibles. Where they've been. The greater your past challenge is, the more likely followers will be willing to let you lead. 6. Ability. What they can do. The bottom line is followers want to know whether you can lead them to victory. As soon as they no longer believe you can deliver, they will stop following. Well, that's true. For sure. You have to always prove yourself. Whew, that's a tough one, huh? I'm not sure how that applies to. I think about that as application to the debate process. Anyway, number 3, the law of process. Leadership develops daily, not in a day. This is the hard one to remember. Leaders require seasoning to be effective. If you continually invest in your leadership development, the inevitable is growth over time. I don't know what I don't know. I know that I need to know. I know that what I don't know, I know and grow, and it starts to show. I simply go because of what I know. That's interesting. I like those 5 phases. A law of navigation. Anyone can steer the ship, takes a leader to chart the course. See, this seems awfully planning directed here, though. Or I guess you could chart on your mid travel.
Well, you could have somebody that's good at helping you with that. I mean, you could lead somebody, you could track somebody who would be good at those things.
Right.
But it does require work. But
okay.
It's fulfilling work.
So, examine the conditions for making commitments, yeah. Listen to what others have to say, yeah. You should do that for sure. Make sure their conclusions represent both faith and fact. Yeah. I tend to be heavy on the faith, light on the fact. Charting a course of navigation strategy. P. Predetermine your course of action. Lay out your goals. Adjust your priorities. Notify key personnel. Allow time for acceptance. Head into action. Expect problems. Always point to your successes. Daily review your plan. I don't like that one.
What?
What don't I like? I don't like the charting a course of the navigation strategy. That sounds like a bunch of fucking, yeah.
But you have to chart something, or else if you're working towards something, you have to chart it. Make sure you're going towards it still.
But that's not true. I can work towards something, neither knowing what it is nor how I'm going to get there.
You could do that if that something isn't going to be too defined. If you don't know what you want, then I don't know how you're going to get it.
Well, I know what the general right direction is. That's the thing. The general right direction is more.
But nobody has. I don't know that anybody's been successful at accomplishing something that they deem significant. That's kind of important to them that they don't have anything close to as at the moment without charting something.
Talking with famous people.
But you've charted it by talking about it.
Okay, if it's okay for the actual experiencing of the thing to be the same as charting it out ahead of time, then fine. If I can do it concurrently, then fine. But if I have
to be just talking about it.
All right,
we're charting something.
Okay, great. Then we're charting. But see, this is the thing. We're charting out how to do a thing that's made up mostly of charting then, because we talk about shit like this all the time.
Well,
I
you've
mean,
got to
so that
be.
makes it really easy to chart. If it's that easy to meet that criterion, then fine. I'm down with that criterion. Okay, let's move on to another criterion. So adding profits by adding value. The bottom line is leadership isn't how far we've been. Make things better for the people who follow you. If you can't answer with an unhesitant yes, then you likely aren't. I don't think I am. That's the
What?
problem here. That's the problem with this endeavor. Am I making things better for the people who follow you? I don't know if I am. Whereas in debate, I am certain that I am.
Well, then you probably want to change that.
Well, I'm trying to. I'm in the process, but it takes a while to get the marketplace in place. But the whole point of that is to get everybody have a actual financial piece of the thing, but not actually a ownership piece of talking with famous people, but to get it's to conflate that with this other, it's to do this, it's to meet that answer right there.
I don't know.
That is an
I think
important criterion for me.
I don't know how many people think that they're going to get value from the marketplace as much as they do from what you have set up already.
Okay,
I think it's
fine. I know
insignificant.
I understand, Nick, that nobody yet quite recognizes that the giant gold nugget amongst the silver scattered atop the ground is what I'm saying it is, because I get all the reasons why you would not believe in that. But I will tell you right now, with no uncertainty, that the absolute most important thing in this whole equation is the artifacts part of the marketplace.
That could be true, but timing is important.
Well, okay, that is a tricky question. Let's set that one off to the side for a second. Timing.
Yeah.
That's a complicated question. Let me go down
I
to the
think
next things here. Okay, truly value others. I do value others. I think. I think I value others. I think I truly value others. I can make that claim. I can substantiate that claim. Make yourself more valuable to others.
I don't think you're working on that as much as you could or should be.
Yeah,
You
probably
do.
not. I, I don't know how. I don't know how to do that.
Seeking new information and looking back on what you could have done better, or introspection.
Okay. Well, then I'm trying to make myself. I'm trying to improve, but not for that purpose exactly. It's more for selfish perceptual reasons, I guess.
Well, that's the ultimate way of doing it. Actual improvement, where you're coming to greater understandings of, how to better yourself and others. By doing that, you do better yourself and others, and the perception doesn't need to be managed as much.
Okay. No relates what others value. I'm learning to do that more. Do things that God values. I'm very active about that as I define it. Which most people might not think that's what I'm doing, but they don't know. Attitude affects the atmosphere. If you desire to add value by serving others, you'll become a better leader, and your people will achieve more, develop more loyalty. Okay, that just makes sense. Law of solid ground. Trust is important. I agree. Absolutely. Leaders cannot repeatedly break trust with people and continue to influence them. Your people know when you make mistakes. Their question is whether you're going to fess up. I agree. Consistently exemplifying confidence, connection, and character. People will forgive occasional mistakes on ability, and they will give you time to connect, but they won't trust somebody who slips in character. Character communicates consistency. Character communicates potential. Character communicates respect. I agree. But the thing is, lazy, I refuse to see impulsive and lazy put in there. Fuck you with this discipline thing. Fuck you with this disciplined and hardworking and impulsive and lazy. Those are not character issues. Fuck you. Honest is a character issue. Deceitful is a character issue. Um, good goodwilledness is a character issue versus ill-willedness. Scheminess, overly planniness is a problem. Excessive imposition of discipline on others is a problem. Excessive overweighting hard work for its own sake, regardless of whether you want to do that work. That's a fucking problem. That's a character fucking problem. Well, I don't like those words in there. I don't like those words in there because I've heard those words used to me before. I spent years thinking I was a problem because I was undisciplined. Fuck that shit. I don't like that.
Well, you're disciplined in the things that you're good at are the things that you've been disciplined in doing.
Okay, but it's not even disciplined, right? It's impulsive and lazy. That's what's caused what appears to be disciplined, right? Why have I made so many thousand videos? 2,800 videos or whatever. Because I'm impulsive and lazy. Not because I'm disciplined or hardworking. I am pretty hardworking if you call anything work. If you call this work, I am breaking my back every day.
Exactly, and you're disciplined.
If you call this work,
I think you're viewing it. You're attached it to negative things that been misrepresenting of it in the past.
Anyway, I agree that with the honesty thing. I don't like the TE fucking meowness of that.
I think if you read the book and the instances examples that he gave, probably would help clarify and you'd probably understand it.
Okay, fine.
And you'd agree.
Fine. Character communicates respect. How do leaders earn respect? Making sound decisions by admitting their mistakes and putting what's best for their followers and the organization ahead of their personal agendas.
You do that.
No leader can break trust with his people. I expect to keep influencing and trust definition of leadership. Okay. See, I felt a little bit like this with Courtney the other night. That I probably... She didn't... I didn't break any... I didn't explicitly break trust. I wasn't told that this was secret or anything. But the way I dealt with it was she came to me to solve the problem and I kind of teased her about it publicly. You know, which is kind of an asshole move. I feel bad about it. I do. But I also...
That's all you gotta do is tell her that.
I will tell her that. I do feel bad about it. And I haven't told her that yet.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. It's an easy thing. It's not that you're not going to make mistakes, and I don't think that's saying that ever. It's just how you handle those, which you always tend to handle well. But
okay. So, okay. The leaders in the group immediately take charge, but after people get to know one another, it doesn't take long for them to recognize the strongest leaders and start to follow them. Okay. Natural leadership. So, top 6 ways that leaders gain others' respect. 1. Natural leadership ability. If you possess it, people will want to follow you. They will become excited when you communicate it. Respect for others. When they show respect for others, especially people who have less power or lower position than theirs, they gain respect from others. I hope I show respect to others. I try to treat everybody the same. Courage. Leaders do what's right, even at the risk of failure. In the face of great danger and under brunt of relentless criticism.
What'd you think?
I don't like this, Nick. This is making me emotional.
I mean, I totally let you be my leader in something like this. Just want you to own that shit and work on it. because it's going to require some things that ENTPs don't like doing, and I don't want to see you not make, you know, you're still
Like,
young enough, and you got an interesting. You're very. I mean, you've done a lot for me with just, you know, you've added a lot of value to my life. Um, and I just want you to reach. You got this massive ceiling of potential, man. Massive.
okay, so how best should I utilize you?
That's. I think that's up to. That shouldn't be my.
No, well, you're the only one who's you've already taken a leadership position in no uncertain terms, and much more so than Taylor, who has established a position of status, but less so of leadership. He's also behaved leaderly like according to those definitions, but is less interested in explicitly leading than you are.
Well, I'm trying to. I've been trying to not do that as much.
Well, you're just gonna have to be willing though to tell me what you think I really ought to do with you, even though it sounds self-serving perhaps, and or you'll assume that I might draw meaning out of it that I probably won't actually make. But
I just don't think that I don't know that I can answer it. It's, you know, you can brainstorm things with me. I know that. Um, I can help with the managing a perception thing, tell you how you're coming off, you know, have two sets of eyes on everything, um, and be here for support anytime you need it.
okay, so what you're telling me basically is how to be more uh
Of what you already are, just not
how,
accepting and working on.
how to be more appealing to a wider audience.
If that's what you want, I don't know that I'm saying that. I'm saying, um, what I'm trying to do is figure out what you want and give you ideas as how to get there, and
Okay, all
just
right.
use
Well,
my
let's
experience.
say I wanted this. Let's say I wanted, ideally, I've got part of what I wanted done, which is that people are generating content here as a matter of course, not because it's not just me having to carry the content making burden in that sense. But the ideal vision was also that people would contribute by doing what Elsie did, which is making their own edited videos of things.
And why do you
And
think she did that?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, you had to do all these things with being a leader. So you had Tiff set up the thing for you, set up the channel. You said multiple times about how you want to have somebody uploading videos, and then you made it available for her to upload, and you gave some direction.
Yeah, but that's not what caused her to upload. Those are all things that made it possible for her to upload.
Right, but by being a leader is what made her want to. It's all it ties back to leadership, and being conscious of it helps, I think.
So do you think that
Because
when
it's not
people do
something you
things,
say, it's something you do.
do you think that when people
Yep.
do things, it's because of another person, not because of the circumstances?
Could be both. You've created the circumstances, and it's you know, i- i- it's helping you, and it's helping the channel of what you've created. So it's more of getting people to contribute, which is what you're wanting. It's just there's a way to do it effectively that I think you are capable of, and where you don't have to talk about the very thing of it. You know, it's like people want to do it more, and it's you
Okay,
know,
all right, all right.
it's
So we've narrowed down to something practical here. So what I would like to do is to have others feel as though it's a fun and rewarding thing for them to make a video and have it go on Talking with Famous People. I'd like there to be enough demand for put mine up that I could start even being like a gatekeeper capacity.
Yeah, so that's your one, and you just got to develop the strategy to do it. So you got to define it, I think,
So
at
we
least to
made big
yourself,
progress there because I think we figured out what I actually want.
which is good.
So
And you're
what's the
starting to see.
strategy then?
Well, I think you have to focus on a lot of it's in those 21 things. You know, focus on adding value and making and bettering yourself so you're more effective at that, because you're not going to feel as bad. And also be make sure you listen to what people are saying about their various things. You know, if you get enough people say that they think you type people too quickly, then take that into consideration.
Okay, is
Which I'm
that
not saying you don't.
Okay.
And I'm only mentioning that because I've heard enough, like 4 people say it. So
Because they want me. They want me to. Yeah. Okay. In that particular instance, it may be because I'm just like kind of not in the mood to do it or something. I'm just kind of half-assing it. I mean, I know that that's not okay. I shouldn't do that, but I'm.
well, and
What?
take into consideration, it's not always that they're right and you're wrong.
Well, the thing is, it's that whole impulsive and lazy thing. No matter what else happens, I have to make that work around the fact that I am fundamentally impulsive and lazy. So,
You just, but it's not concrete. It's not there to stay. It's not something that you can, you know.
what's
I
not
think
concrete?
you're compulsive and lazy. You
Oh,
could be less compulsive and lazy in places where it's a
I'm not
detriment.
compulsive. I'm impulsive.
Oh, that's what I meant. Impulsive and lazy.
Yeah. The thing about the impulsive is that's why I very often will sit. I'll say, okay, I'm getting off GoToMeeting to go make X, and I will get off GoToMeeting and I will end up making Y.
Well, then don't do that. Don't. I read a very interesting article on Reddit where it's like sometimes when a NTP says something that they're going to do something, that in its own it gives them the feeling of having already done something about it, and that it's less there's less likelihood of it actually happening.
But what I'm saying is, even if I don't say it out loud, I may get off with an intention of doing a project X, and then when I get off the computer, get off the GTM, and I go to even before I even open up that thing that I'm going to work on, I've got shit already open at the bottom. So I go to that app, and there's something else open in there already. Now there's a decent chance that that thing will cause me to get distracted by something else, So,
But that's
and
when you can help. You can be leading people to where they're doing some of the things that you're wanting to do that you're not getting to. You know, like for example, you've heard enough people say you need cover art. Well, you have a graphic designer that said he would help you. Boom. Would you listen? That's big.
I assume that meant I was gonna have to pay him though.
I don't assume that. You'd be amazed what a leader can accomplish. And I think if you focus on that, and if something is interest to you and you want to focus on it,
Okay, but look, there's some real. I wrestle with the notion of using FE to get people to do stuff for me. Although I guess that's what I'm doing right now, right? Is that what I'm doing right now? Am I doing that right now?
Why I look at this is where I see the detriment of Myers-Briggs is using that as your only form of perceptual lens. You know, you're the only way to look at things. Don't look at it like that.
Okay.
Look at it as
give me a different lens.
the lens as okay. I need to accomplish something. I'm gonna to stop. I'm going to figure out what I need to do to accomplish it, and then but because of added value to people, give them something to do and tell them and ask them to do it if they don't mind, and that say, hey, it'd be really helpful if you could do this. It'd help the channel a lot. If you wouldn't mind doing it, would you mind doing it? And if they say yes, then they'll do it, and then all of a sudden they feel like they've contributed and they've done something, and then you could say you figure out a way for that thing that they did to add value to them. Give them, make sure you give them credit for it. For example, at the bottom you could say graphic art done by blah blah blah. Maybe he can use that on a resume or something. He could go to a future employer and say, hey, yeah, you want a list of references? Here's Eric. You'd be a hell of a reference, for example.
I am a very good reference. I tell you, when future employers call me and say, hey, Bob worked for you, how was he? If I liked Bob when he left anyway, then I give him the whole plate full of turkey and stuffing. And
so it doesn't.
They devour it and they go, "Oh, Bob tastes delicious."
Yeah. So, I mean, it's not something you can wrestle. You don't need to necessarily wrestle with if it's a win-win, which it sounds like it would be in that case. He already offered. I don't think he expected you to be paying him anything. You can have credit for it, and figure out ways to add more and more value. I think having people that already have a strong online presence coming on to the show, or coming on to the Always Open Room, having a show type format, it was going to be huge.
Well, maybe somebody who wants to sell stuff can help me with the marketplace. Maybe your brother would help me with the marketplace. He could sell his coffee at the marketplace.
Stuff like that.
Okay.
I think the marketplace is going to be benefited by this writing of the audience and by these things where you're adding value. That's going to add value to the marketplace.
I agree.
That's what I'm significantly.
I agree. That was the plan. Was that once I got the idea is once I get the marketplace in place, that at the beginning should be small and cheap and not obviously something worth anything. So that as the audience grows, then it starts to pick up value, and I can show an arc of price points for things. It's that graphic that ultimately is the deciding factor in the whole thing. If you can show a graphic like that for each object, and then it becomes a stock.
Okay.
But that's fine. I mean, it doesn't mean I have to prioritize it in that order or whatever. I mean, it kind of
I think
it works either way. Whatever scale, it's fine.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be if you go back and you say we're going to be give some sense of vision and direction. Like I've come to terms that I am, first of all, you got to come to terms with yourself that you are adding value to people. And I think that's something you like. I hope, anyway.
I do like it. It's also a very Trenton-y thing in me that I want to make sure. I do like it when I feel like, when I try to like it, I get a little overwhelmed by emotion. And I don't like that. So I generally try not to.
It's something you got to get used to, I think.
I generally just try to not feel the emotions, because they don't give me any information, and I mean I think they're useful. I find that it's useful that I have poor control over my emotions, because most of the emotions I feel are things that, when displayed, work pretty well. Not necessarily the anger. I mean, that depends on the circumstances, right? But the other kinds of emotions that I display, which invariably, whatever they all are, they're all expressed by one physical behavior, which is crying. Every emotion except anger equals crying. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know that. So, like, when adding value, you can look at it through the lens that I just gave you, as Son said he'd do something for you. Must have added value for him to get to that point. Figure out how to add the value of him doing something and make it happen where it's contributing to the overall vision.
All right, then here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stop this video. I'm gonna upload it right now.
Oh, that was a video?
Yeah, you told me to record it.
Oh, I didn't know it was for you. Okay.
All right, thanks for watching.
Could be a
Talking
cool
to French
video.
people. I've been host Eric. This has been host Nick. Giving me some really good advice about how to make cheese, all sorts of stuff like that. You probably heard some of the video along the way here before we got to this point. Take those lessons to heart.